Most people are taught boundaries as protection. Protect your peace, protect your energy, protect yourself from low vibe people, protect your nervous system. And I want to be clear, this isn't always about trying to control other people. It's about controlling something, your environment, your exposure, your proximity, your triggers. But what if the entire framework is built on a single assumption that you are unsafe unless you manage what you're exposed to, that you're only regulated if you can curate your environment precisely enough? And what if that belief, even though it feels empowered, is actually still rooted in survival? Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie Faber. I'm a trauma-informed expansion coach, and my work is about helping people move out of survival-based identities and into embodied sovereignty, not just in mindset, but in nervous system and energetic field. And I want to say this up front. This conversation is not about shaming boundaries. It's not about telling you that you've been doing something wrong. Boundaries can and are deeply, deeply supportive. For many people, it's the first time that their system ever felt relief, because most people don't learn boundaries in a neutral state. They learn them after burnout, after emotional overwhelm, after chronic self-abandonment and relationships where they didn't feel safe to be themselves fully. So boundaries become a lifeline. They create space, they create relief, they create a sense of having control again. And when you're in that stage, they are absolutely necessary. But here's exactly why this conversation matters. For a lot of people, boundaries end up becoming the only way they know how to stay regulated. And when that happens, regulation becomes conditional. It depends on who you're around, who you're exposed to, how well you're managing your environment. And over time, all of that gets exhausting because you're still scanning and you're still discerning and you're still filtering your life through, is this safe for me? What most people want isn't actually better boundaries. They want peace without management. They want safety without vigilance, and clarity without constant self-monitoring. And all of that requires a different internal state entirely. So here's the assumption about boundaries that rarely gets named. Most boundary work is built on the belief that I am not safe in the presence of certain energies. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that your nervous system learned safety through distance. So boundaries become a way to regulate, to control your exposure. I can't be around this. I need space from that. I am okay as long as I manage who has access to me. And at first, this feels like empowerment. But notice what's still happening. Your nervous system is organizing itself around what might dysregulate you. That's survival identity. Not because you're weak, not because you didn't heal enough, but because your body learns safety through avoidance instead of presence. So here is the key distinction. Stability that depends on controlling your environment is not sovereignty. It's regulation through management. Sovereignty is stability that comes from within, regardless of who is around you. It doesn't mean that you force yourself into misaligned situations, but it means that your sense of self is no longer shaped by them. So this is where things get uncomfortable and honest. A lot of modern boundary language sounds really strong. I won't tolerate this. This isn't available to me. I'm protecting my peace. And there is nothing inherently wrong with those statements. But listen to the energy underneath them. If your peace requires constant guarding, then peace isn't embodied yet. If your safety depends on who is in the room, then your safety is still external. And none of this is judgment, it's information. It tells you that your nervous system is still leading, not your truth. And this is where wounded leadership gets disguised as self-respect. The energy says, I am strong because I say no, but sovereignty says, I don't need to push away what no longer matches me. One is effort, the other is alignment. So let me give you a real example from my own life. I have a family member that I was in no contact with for close to 20 years, and the decision was incredibly necessary at the time. He was dismissive, he was invalidating, he would override my perspective, assert his truth as the only truth, and minimize or disregard me. So back then, being around him felt very unsafe to my nervous system. So distance was the boundary. Now, recently we reconnected. And what is fascinating is that he hasn't changed. He still doesn't agree with my perspectives. He still dismisses them. He tries to override them. He still asserts his and minimizes mine. Objectively, the behavior is still the same. But here is what is different. It didn't impact me at all. Not because I shut down, not because I dissociated, not because I bypassed what was happening, but because safety is no longer external. My nervous system wasn't looking at him for validation. My sense of self wasn't being shaped by his approval or his understanding. So absolutely nothing needed to be defended. I didn't need to explain myself. I didn't need to convince him. I didn't need to correct him. And I didn't need to cut him off. There was no charge, just clarity. So in the past, the boundary was, I can't be around this. But now the boundary is, this doesn't define me. That's the difference. I didn't become more tolerant. I became less impacted. My system no longer reads disagreement as danger. So the old triggers don't activate. And when triggers don't activate, then there's nothing to manage. No enforcement, no emotional labor, no internal negotiation, just presence. So if you don't follow Bashar, I really recommend it because his teachings are fantastic. But this reminds me of something that he said. You don't need protection when you stop believing that you're in danger. Now, this doesn't mean that harm never exists. It doesn't mean that you tolerate abuse. It means the belief in danger is no longer running your identity. When your body believes that it is unsafe, it organizes your entire life around defense. Boundaries become shields, discernment becomes hypervigilance, and distance becomes regulation. But when that belief dissolves, and I'm not talking intellectually, I'm talking somatically, protection stops being necessary. It's not because challenging things cease to exist, but it's because challenge no longer equals threat. From an energetic perspective, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you resonate with. When your field is organized around survival, you resonate with dynamics that require defense. You meet people who invalidate, who override, who push, who cross lines. And then you need boundaries to manage those interactions. But when your field is organized around sovereignty, those dynamics stop impacting you. It's not because you're better. It's not because your vibe is higher. It's because there's no match. The frequency mismatch just doesn't work. When you actively push energy away, you're still in relationship with it. But when you stop matching it, the relationship ends on its own. So this is where boundaries fundamentally change. They stop becoming defense statements and they start becoming directional ones. Not, I need to protect myself from this, but this isn't where I'm going. One is fear-based, one is choice-based. One is about control, the other is about clarity. Clarity doesn't need enforcement. It just simply moves. So boundaries are not about keeping people out. They're about being so anchored in yourself that nothing actually needs to be pushed away. Protection is for nervous systems that believe they're in danger. Sovereignty is for nervous systems that know who they are. If any of this landed, it's probably because your body is already moving out of survival and into self-leadership. If you felt it in your body, comment sovereign below. And if you're ready to take the next step in a structured way to move beyond boundaries and to actually embody your energy, you can explore any of my programs. Awaken is my signature program. It's a framework that will align your mind, body, and soul, helping you release old patterns, stop getting triggered, and step into grounded, confident self-leadership. And then there's my expansion coaching. This is deeper, hands-on, one-on-one work to fully transform your identity, to release all of your limiting patterns, and to live from your sovereign self in every area of your life. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell if you would like to hear more teachings like this, practical tools and practices and insights to help you stop managing your healing and to start expanding from wholeness. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.